Welcome to E360 TV, the live streaming and on-demand destination for influential voices and enlightened audiences. We offer trending, grassroots, and purpose-driven content across a diverse range of interests. E360 TV is more than just watching programs. We offer the ability to interact with live shows connecting audiences to real, authentic influencers and storytellers while streaming to millions of devices. Real experiences. Raw conversations. One destination for it all. E360 TV.
5 years ago, the Power of We Symposium was created to provide a platform for kids from all sectors where they could have a safe and comfortable environment in which to share both their joys and concerns. The Power of We Symposium is proud to have served over 250 kids throughout Romania when we took our mission global back in May of 2023. Now, 2 teams of amazing volunteers from both the U.S. and Romania embarked on an 8-day Legacy of Hope tour, bringing encouragement and hope to not only the kids of Romania, but also the adults who support them, and also to over 100 kids here in the U.S. who contributed handwritten letters of hope to our Romania mission of 2023. Now, this year, we are proud to provide this opportunity yet again in October, and we are super excited to up our game. New venue, 750 kids this time, and we want to see you there. We're looking forward to meeting you in person at this year's event, which promises, as always, incredible speakers, amazing content, and of course, some of the greatest kids on the planet. So, mark your calendars for October 24th, and we'll see you here in Chicagoland for the Power of We Symposium 2024. This year's theme is Always Together, Never Alone. Tickets are available now on Eventbrite or at powerofwesymposium.com.
My name is Dr. Kent Mercado, and I'm running for Congress. For the past 25 years, I've served the 11th District as a physician, an attorney, and a humanitarian. I'm running for Congress to have a larger impact and to bring your voice to Washington. I've visited every county in the district, and I've met with thousands of people, listening and learning from them about their concerns. I found that family values and kitchen table issues are what's most important. So we need to reignite the economy, improve our educational system, ensure the safety of our communities, provide access to affordable physical and mental health care, and of course support our farmers. I'm Dr. Kent Mercado, and I'm running for Congress to be your voice. Together we can make sustainable solutions for our nation.
Shamelessly displaying my state of mind, but you walk right past me, pretending like you don't see what's yours for the taking tonight.
show me. Oh, I was just singing my little head off. I didn't see y'all coming in, but I'm glad you're here. Welcome to today's installment of Bathrobe Moments. I'm your host, Dr. Lauren. Really quick, because I have a great show for you. An international guest today. She's coming from all the way in Orangeville, Ontario. That's in Canada for you people that don't know your geography. And her name is ALEXI Bracey. She's going to come and talk to us about happiness. Do you know what it is? You know, this morning I posted something about blessings, right? Because, this is a great tie-in. This is a great tie-in because, wait a minute, because the Power of We Symposium, I did a post this morning. It's October 24th of this year, so 10/24/24, and there is an award we give out every year. Nobody knows about it. Well, you do now, but I talk about it after someone's already won it. And that award was won yesterday. We call it the Momentum Award. And we award it to the person who buys the very first ticket. Because if you're a creator and you know what it's like, an author, whatever it is, it's just you and the work after you finish the work and you sit there and you and the crickets are doing your thing, and then you get that notification, ding, 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 from Eventbrite. You've got tickets. Why is that so important? Because it's the first. And the first sits alone in everything that we have in our journey. You remember your first car, your first apartment, your first job, your first boyfriend or girlfriend. You remember, right? So it's a sacred position for anything in our journeys to hold. And so yesterday, we know who it is, but I know she's not watching the show, so I can talk about it, but I'm not going to say her name. But yeah, and the great thing about that is because now, in October, because it happens every time when there's 750 kids in the audience, there's 300 people that bought tickets in the audience. There's countless people at home on the pay-per-view platform watching. And then you bring that person up and you're like, look, first it was just me and you. And look at this. Look at what we have manifested together. That's the power of two or more, you all. And so I want you to know about that. And don't forget about that, okay? Deal. So listen, that's the bell of purpose. For those of you who are religious and watching the show, you've known it's been here for 7 straight years. We're in year number 8, and it is not a prop. It's a reminder. It's an opportunity, if you will, that just to remind you that when we're doing whatever we're doing, and I'm still fighting this cold, right? 17 degrees here in Chicago today. So anyway, the bell is going to be rung every time there's some truth out there, because just like that bell has a ring to it, so does the truth. And we don't want to get so caught up, so busy, so distracted that we miss the truth, because that's the only thing in the universe that will never change, and it will never change on us. Can I get an amen? There we go. Oh, well, I'll kick them off. Here you go. Amen. There it is. It means we're in agreement. So good morning. Where are my manners? Good morning, beautiful people. I started to tell you, I will finish now about today's guest, ALEXI Bracey. So brace yourself for Miss Bracey. I wonder if she was ever known back in the day as Racy Bracey. Wait, let me say it where I can see her. She's grinning. Yep. We're going to get into that back in the day. Did you hear who got a date with Race? Okay. All right. Get ready. She says that this is what ALEXI has to say in that quote. She goes, I am a happiness matters advocate in a world filled with anger, hate, war. Told you I was going to ring the bell. Happiness levels have decreased. Did you know this? That happiness levels have decreased 25% in the last 4 years alone, resulting in even more anxiety, depression, and unfortunately, the word we all know about, but it never seems to change. But we're going to get some news on that today, and that's suicide. All these things, one thing leads to the next, And so ALEXI says that we need to practice and share happiness through gratitude, kindness, joy, and love. And as a happy for no reason trainer, okay, I'm happy for no reason. Why are you so happy? I don't know. Right. Best answer in the world. Don't question it. Just embrace it. So ALEXI is where it starts. That's where it is. Get to her is what she's saying. And she would welcome the opportunity. And so for any of you that want to know more about it, to come and get some of it. I'll take some. I mean, last time I looked at my spiritual and emotional pantry, I had a lot of more room for some happiness. So here comes some right now. Put some hearts on the screen. It's our virtual way of saying welcome as we bring in our guests to pour into us today. bless in the way that you want to be blessed and share the broadcast out and watch what happens. Here she comes, all the way from Orangeville. Why did I want to sound Southern when I said I was from Orangeville, Ontario? No, okay. Do you think they have an accent there? They only do, I think, in French Canada. And that, like, name one famous French Canadian. Who? She's a singer. We're going to see if our guest knows, because here she comes. Hello, ALEXI Bracey.
Oh, good morning. What a warm welcome. Oh, my goodness. Oh, my goodness.
ALEXI Bracey, or as they used to call her back in the day.
No.
I'm kidding. Hey, do you know a famous French Canadian singer?
Celine Dion.
Oh my God! I should have gave away a prize, because you could have just won. Maybe we'll do that before we get out of here today. Give away a book bundle or a gift card to a lucky viewer. Would you guys like that? ALEXI can play for you. How are you feeling today? You look great.
I am awesome. I'm awesome. Thank you. Just, I started a program in the school systems up in Canada, and just to get more happiness and share with children what you can do every single day. Like, for example, I say when you go out in the mornings, are you hurrying your kids around? Hurry up, you're going to miss the bus. Don't forget your lunch. Don't forget the dry cleaners. Instead of saying, have a good day, say, put a smile on somebody's face. Put a smile in their heart. It will make it, and then share with me when you get home. It will make them think a little bit more outside the box, about more than just outside of them.
Yeah, I wish you'd have been around when I was a kid, so you could have told my mom that, and then you could have added a little bit more to that, like, and give your kid a $10 bill. And they'll share their candy with you when they get home today. Now, see, that's how I would have looked at it. But we're going to get into that. But first, let's talk about who you are. We know we've established where you are. Where is Orangeville, Ontario? And real quick, you guys, happy leap year day, the 29th.
Right.
And happy birthday to my good friend, Sandy Loncourt. She's one of the people that gets an actual birthday, only once every 4 years. So happy birthday to all the leap year babies. So where geographically in the country of Canada is Orangeville, and how big is that place?
It is about 2 hours north of Toronto, and population wouldn't be 1 million, definitely not. Maybe 500,000. So it's a smaller city.
Okay, I'm looking at my big wall calendar. Aha. Okay, I see it. So you said north.
Yeah, north and slightly west.
Okay.
North and slightly west.
Okay. Do you ever get over to Quebec?
I haven't been there for a while.
Is that for some reason, that name alone makes me want to visit it. Is it beautiful?
Well, yeah, it's beautiful. I mean, every province has their own beauty. There's a lot of history in Quebec. Quebec City, Montreal itself. The Laurentian Mountains. It's a beautiful province, just like each one of the provinces has its own flavor.
So let's get to it, ALEXI. So tell the truth. Well, first of all, how long have you been like the happiness conductor, the happiness guru? How long has that been going on?
Well, officially, I'd say a year because I took a program in it, but unofficially, I would say probably about 5 years, because it started with me telling jokes at fishing lodges where I worked. And I realized that I had this gift to make people laugh.
That's called a comedian.
Yes, I know, but I don't want to be stand-up comedian.
That's a job, right? That's a career,
yes,
right?
I know.
I
mean, I might, what? I may just try it once, at some
I know.
You
should. You should, ALEXI. Ooh, do they have Canada's Got Talent? America's Got Talent. You come get on that.
Canada doesn't have that, but yeah.
What's wrong with them? They better get with it. So let me ask you something though, because I really want to get in. Because here's why. I mentioned the post that I put out about Power Week because we sold our first ticket yesterday.
Yes, I see that.
But the post was actually about, I took a screenshot where Eventbrite had sent me the notification. Congratulations, you sold your first ticket. Now you can watch in real time as the ticket sales roll in. So there they were, partnering with me and manifesting this dream of this event for 750 kids in October. But the thing was, I said it up in the description was this. See, and I believe this ties into happiness. Blessings. You know, for me, a true blessing is, a lot of people think a blessing is a thing you can touch, like a car. I can go up and touch the car. A house, I can touch the house. But my greatest blessing, I want to know how you feel about this, Alexi. My greatest blessings have been those things that I couldn't touch, but I could feel.
Absolutely.
You see what I'm saying? And happiness is a
Absolutely.
thing you can't really touch it. Oh, look at that happiness. Let me poke it. No, but you can feel it. Talk
That's
about
right.
that. Talk about that.
Well, when you do a kind gesture for somebody unexpectedly, holding the door, patting somebody on the arm, buying the barista a coffee, or your school guard crossing a coffee,
Mm-hmm.
helping somebody in need with the groceries, like even petting my pets, or I hear the purrs, I feel the licks. I've got two dogs and they get a lot of attention. So I'm standing in the elevator and my dogs are sitting beside me. And so a little 4-year-old girl's watching, and I give my dogs a treat. And then I say to her, "Do you want to give them a treat?" And her eyes are all aglow. And so I put a little treat in her hand and she gives it to each one of the dogs. I see this child a month later, she still remembers.
Yeah. And why do you think that is?
Well, it's just a new experience, and they understand that this animal is enjoying what they're doing, and the fact that they're giving it to them too.
Yeah.
And maybe a brand new experience for them. Maybe somebody's never experienced a hug, or a pat on the arm, or a compliment, or somebody to bring them flowers for no reason.
Uh-oh.
So, a lot of firsts bring a lot of happiness into people's lives. Like you said, your first
Yeah.
car, your first date, your first job.
Yeah. Absolutely right. Absolutely right. Now, do you think, in your opinion, because did you say you took a course?
Yes, I took a Happy for No Reason training program through Marcy Shimoff.
Okay, I'm not familiar with the name, but talk about that. First of all, what drew you? I think I'm going to take a course on happiness.
Well, actually, it fell into my lap quite unexpectedly. Um, I realized that one of my key values was bringing joy, and my career as a chef had ended because of
As a chef,
as an unfortunate accident. Yes, I used to be a chef.
you were a chef?
Hmm.
Wow, Chef Alexi. Right away, chef. Oh, tell me you were nicer than Gordon Ramsay. Oh, she froze.
No.
Oh, well, we'll get to that before we get out of here. The chef. Okay, so keep going with your story. I'm sorry, that just caught me off guard. Go ahead.
Okay, so I knew I liked to tell jokes, and I had a gift with it. And so I took a quiz on determining what your values were, and it was bringing joy. And I thought, bringing joy, and I was taking a program with Marcy Shimoff, A Year of Miracles, and she was offering this program. The night the registration closes at 9:30, I'm filling in my application. The next morning, I get a phone call at 10 o'clock. Out of 1,500 people that applied, they only took 150, and I was one of them. Is that divine intervention or what?
It is, but
It's
let me ask you something. Okay, no, I'm gonna wait. I'm gonna wait on that question because I got two more in front of it. It'll make more sense if I wait. Okay, so you take how long was the course?
12 weeks.
Okay, so you take the course and you get done. Okay, congratulations. Graduation, here's your certificate. Bye. So now you wake up, you're finished with the course. Did you put on an outfit that you said, "There's my happiness uniform for today. I'm going out in the field." So what does a happiness graduate do first?
Well, you sort of decide on your niche. Like I decided on kids because kids need more happiness in schools. Maybe you're going to be talking to corporate executives because they need in their corporate wellness program. Maybe you're going to be involved in your church program. Maybe you're going to go out to the camps. Maybe
Yeah.
you're going to talk to inmates. Maybe you're going to talk to the medical field because, with COVID and all that, they were so stressed. So
So
you
you're really
determine.
like an ambassador of
Well, yeah,
joy.
that's it. That's exactly. And there's little things you can do all the time just to bring a little happiness into people's lives without even thinking about it. Because behind every face, there is a story of grief, of loss, of trauma.
Yeah.
So I have a reputation where I approach strangers at the dog park, at the grocery store, at the ATM machine, and I share a joke. Why a joke? For the reasons I just said. But it lowers cortisol, the stress hormone, raises endorphins, the feel good hormones, and laughter has been shown to promote longevity.
Yeah. You actually get people to talk to you at the ATM machine?
Absolutely. And then the person will go home and say, you know what, I met this crazy woman at the ATM machine. She shared a
Girl.
joke, but it was really funny. And so
Yeah.
the story continues.
You try to approach me with a joke at the ATM, I'm running screaming. Because in Chicago, that usually means you're getting ready to get jacked. So, okay. So, what about your family or your close inner circle when they found out? Oh, did you hear what Alexi's doing? She's taking a course in happiness. Did they
Well, they're always
understand it?
waiting. They're No, I sort of had to explain a little bit. So, our happiness levels are 50% genetically determined, 40% by habit, and 10% by lifestyle. So, for example, a 4-year-old girl goes with her grandfather for Sunday afternoon drives for ice cream and cookies. And so off the two of them go for a couple hours, come back. She goes running upstairs to grandpa, who's still sick in bed, and he says, "How was that?" And she says, "We didn't see any horses, asses, sons of bitches, or tree huggers. All grandma did was wave and smile." Now that may be funny, but it's not, because already at a young age, she's learning to find the negative and not the beautiful and the happy. So it's
Mm,
how we're conditioned, how we're raised. The news is only bad news. Good news doesn't sell. Think of the
no.
movies that are out now. They're all war and sci-fi and nothing, no feel good stuff.
Right. And I know where I want to go before we get out. Let me write it down so I don't forget. Um, Here we go. That ought to remind me. What about this? Do you find that when people initially hear about what you do, that they kind of go, "Ah, isn't that cute?" Like, like it's some kind of a thing you do down at the senior center, and then you know what I'm saying? Like it's not a real
Yes.
mission. And then I know you. So when you get that, because I know you do, when you encounter that, what do you do? How do you turn that in your own favor and convince them that no, this is real work and I'm serious about this? What's that transition like, or that transformation, if you will?
Well, I asked someone, is there anybody in your life when you grew up that really inspired you and was always happy? Maybe it was a teacher, maybe it was a grandparent, maybe it was a parent. And how did that impact you? So when you go into um, an office where people aren't happy, or if you go into somebody's home where people have a scowled look on your face, you want to get out of there. You don't want to stay. So isn't it nicer to be in an atmosphere, like with children? Because children are always happy. Look at a playground. They're laughing. They're falling. They're giggling. You know.
Yeah.
So I give examples of in their life. What have you done that made somebody happy, or what are you stuck in that you can't get out of? And then I may offer a suggestion
Mm.
because
So,
we all have those down times.
speaking of perfect timing, perfect timing. See, you probably are a good comedian. Your timing is impeccable. Um, I was going to ask you this. So, when you wake up, because I deal with it, not every, and I think I talked about this yesterday on the show. I keep things here, and that's why I love my space for the show. You see, there's toys and there's games. There's a lot of kind of stuff around that you can't see, but it's all about play. For me, why? Because as a kid who had 22 homes in foster care, I realized just how brief the season of childhood is. and it's a very healing season for
Mhm.
those of us who are no longer children. Because you're right. I was just saying the other day, I go out on my deck, and if I'm feeling some kind of way, or just because, not to get away from something or to heal from something, but it is healing. And what I'm talking about is I can just go out there and turn my back to everything, close my eyes, and listen for the play. And I can hear kids in the neighborhood playing, and that
Mhm.
sound that you mentioned it, that laughter, that glee. It carries on the vibrations on the in the air, and it just finds its way to me, and it does something nothing else can do. It is a healing balm, if you know what I'm saying. So I wanted to ask you,
Absolutely.
when you go into schools, did you uh in your years, did you raise a family?
Yes.
Okay, so you have kids of your own.
Mhm.
Okay. So could you tell as a mom back in the day, not just your own kids, but any kid, if a kid really did not have any joy? Like, in the Charles Schultz Peanuts characters, they
Mhm.
have
Mhm.
the one who goes around with the cloud following
That's
him
right.
everywhere. You know what I mean? Um, and the reason I'm asking this is because so many kids nowadays, I do a lot of work with kids too, but they don't know how to deal with the lack of joy. A lot of them don't even know what real joy is, how it feels. Because it's when you don't have it in your family dynamic and you think you're going to get it from here and you don't, where does that leave one? So tell me, what are your thoughts about where our kids are with happiness right now? And what kind of things would you say we maybe need to go back to that they used to do back in the day, but they thought it was antiquated or out of date, or this took its place? What are your thoughts about what happiness means to the kids of today, as opposed to what we thought happiness was when we were kids back in the day?
Well, the vibration of happiness is motion. So, that's why when you see these large gatherings of people are dancing and waving their arms, and they have the heart symbol, whatever. So get kids to move around and to
Mm,
dance and to laugh for 2 minutes before they start their class, and then when they have a break sometime, do the same thing, because scientific research through Stanford has shown that they had two psychiatrists that were suffering from depression attend a workshop where they did a lot of that motion with dancing, all that. Their depression went down, and they couldn't understand why. It was that vibration of happiness. So motion is really important. Whether it's take turns hugging a student in your classmate each day, but the motion, the moving, doing the hearts, holding arms together, that connection, that physical connection makes such a big difference, because
it
we like a
does.
hug because that's a physical connection. We like somebody to touch us on the arm because it's a physical connection.
Yes, absolutely. Do people ever, you know, like call on you for special services when they find out what you do? Like, oh, my mother-in-law's in the hospital, Alexi. Could
Mhm.
you maybe go visit her and spread a little of your happiness and joy? She could sure use it. Do you ever get private requests?
Yes, I do, and that comes to mind. Robin Williams is the same thing. He was the clown that went in and cheered the kids in the hospitals. But adults need that kind of happiness too. I mean, you
Yeah,
you see stories where somebody is terminally ill or very ill, and they get their pet to come in and spend a few hours with them. It lifts everybody's spirits. It makes the animal and the human being happy. So we
yes,
need that happiness connection, that love connection, that good that good vibe connection.
I agree. What do you do personally when you wake up and it's just, let's just say it, a shitty day? Because we all have them. We all do. And this is a serious question because a lot of us don't know, because with the work we do or our calling, because our work is the job we get paid to do. Our calling is the thing we were made to do, and that's different. But still, even if when it's our calling, there are days where I don't feel like being Mr. Motivator in this chair at 8 o'clock Central Standard Time. But nonetheless, I have to turn on the camera. I have to sit in the chair, open the mic, and do my best. Now, fortunately, I have a few things in place that usually are sitting right there. They're within reach, let's say, to remind me constantly of who I truly am and why I truly do this work, just in case I show up not that person, if you know what I mean. So what do you reach for when you need a little happiness and there's not a line of people outside your door saying, oh, don't worry, I brought you a box of fresh happiness? So what do you do personally? And I would assume some of these things you're going to give us, or a couple of them at least, are tips that you share with your clients.
Well, happiness starts in your mind. And so in the morning, first thing I think of is what am I grateful for, and who am I going to inspire? Whose life can I make a difference? Something small, it doesn't matter. Even if you call a friend up and say, thank you for your friendship, make an impact on somebody's life, no matter how small, every single day. So I know that I will do my best to make a little bit of a difference in somebody's life. So kindness starts in your mind. So think kind thoughts about yourself, and then think kind thoughts about other people, but don't say anything that's not kind, because it negates it. So if you don't have anything kind to say, don't say anything at all. At
Don't
least
say
then
anything at all.
just smile then.
Sure word. Smile and nod. Oh, that's what I do when I go to our place in Mexico. I just smile and nod. So let me ask you this. Because a lot of us, I'm going to the gratitude piece, kind of backing the car up a bit here. When you're depressed, and it feels like the Empire State Building is on top of you and you're trying to push it off, it's kind of hard from
Mhm.
that position, pinned underneath the Empire State Building like this, making sure that, just enough room to breathe a little, flat on your back. How do you find something to be grateful for in that moment? Because that's, in many cases, is the defining moment for so many. You mentioned suicide in your bio, and and as a speaker, and many of us, not many of us, have not been touched in one way or another. Even Robin Williams, you mentioned his name. Look, so let's talk about that. What about when it's not so easy? When you don't feel you have anything left in the tank, when happiness sounds like the biggest joke that's ever been perpetrated on you, joy and all the things that have avoided or evaded, what do you suggest people reach for, or where do you suggest people go to when they find themselves flat on their back with no air left in the tank?
You always find something that you're grateful for, no matter how small. No
Oh,
matter, I mean, it doesn't matter what it is. Like, for example, maybe you don't have a permanent address, but somebody's putting you up. So be grateful that that person gave you shelter, no matter how
and it's
short a
not a
period
park
of time.
bench. Right,
That's right, exactly.
right.
Like my animals, I've got 2 dogs, 2 cats. They mean the world to me. So I'm grateful that I have them with me all the time, and the joy I give them and the joy they bring me. There's always some little thing that you can find joy. Always something
Yes,
joy.
yes, I agree. I agree. Do you feel that um well, gratitude, in order to know how available and readily accessible it actually is, I think it's important that we never lose sight of the value in our lives. Things that we value. It doesn't mean, again, we're back to the things that we can feel more than the things that we can touch. The things that we can see. Oh, I see this thermos. I can touch this thermos. But what I'm looking for when I'm devoid of joy and happiness, it's not found when I take the lid off. It's not in there. It's not. So how do we find the joy in ourselves? You said go to yourself, and it's true. What about people that think that, because they've been conditioned,
Hmm.
been programmed, uh, doing things that were chosen for them, maybe a narcissistic person in their world. People tell them you're going to be just like your rotten father, this, that, and the other. Do you ever run into people that just feel like I am the worst person ever? There's nothing good or nice about me. So you can't help me. Just leave me alone. What do you say to a person like that, Alexa?
People unfortunately have little self-worth through conditioning, genetics. And so everybody is worth something on some level. So I say to them, think of a time when somebody did something nice for you or you did something nice for them. Just be grateful that your mother gave you the life and she did all the sacrifices for you, both the teacher that taught you how to write, your father that taught you how to ride a bicycle, your first date that taught you how to give a kiss, your prom date that showed you that you were really important and she asked you to the prom. There's always something that you can be a little grateful for in the past, no matter how small. It doesn't matter what it is.
That's a big piece. If you don't think you have something right in front of you in the moment, find a memory that remembers you to that moment of joy. That way oh yeah, it really does exist. Brilliant. Absolute brilliant. Here's a little something from Lori Whitney. Lori, I love this. Thank you so much for sharing this. Lori Whitney says, a little girl came knocking on my door asking me if I had a bike helmet because she couldn't afford one and couldn't ride her bike to school unless she had one. I looked in my magical bag and pulled out that Taz helmet and gave that blessing to her. I got the biggest hug and smile from that little girl. There's nothing like sharing the love. I agree. There you go. And see, right there, Lori being able to share this memory with us, it was right there. It was in the silo, it was in the shed. It was in the curio cabinet. It was in the deep freezer. Wherever it was, she had it somewhere because she just reached in, pulled it out, and shared it with us. She fluffed it back up. She dusted it off, and it is still just as valuable today, if not more so, because now she's touching everybody that's hearing this, watching this, or will watch it. Where when it happened, I'm assuming it was just her and the little girl, or maybe, family members. But look at it now. It's like the gift that keeps on giving. Let's talk about that. So healing. You had some statistics at the beginning about this percent and that percent. Are there any numbers about how this really helps reverse some of the dis-ease that we feel when we're not happy? How fast, for instance, when water is dammed up, it starts decaying and disease starts building instantly. But or it starts after some time. It sits there, and the longer it's stagnant, the worse it becomes. But the moment they unfreeze it and it can flow, they undam it, immediately it starts healing itself. It starts cleansing. It starts reviving, renewing, all those things. So what about us when we hold things in and don't let things out? A lot of people don't know how to let go of something or to put something down in order to pick something else up. Let's go to when you decided to do this work. You added something, but did you have to give up something in order to pick this thing up? Or did you just have a lot of open and extra time and said, I'll fill it with being a happiness guru?
Well, it was another event in my life that led me to a place where I didn't know what I wanted to do with the rest of my life. I had an accident a couple of years ago, a no-fault accident that resulted in a balance issue, which resulted in my fall, and I broke my femur, and that's where my career as a chef ended. So then I thought, okay, so what am I going to do now? And, because of the joke telling, and then learning that bringing joy was one of my values, and this course fell into my lap, it was all synchronistic. So, going back more than 20 years ago, I was diagnosed with cancer. And without any medical intervention, drugs, or surgery, I was cancer-free in a year's time because I made changes. So I could really say that cancer led me to happiness.
Wow.
Because I was a chef back then. So if I had not gotten cancer, I may be a chef today flipping beetle burgers at the beach.
So, wait a minute. Share with us a little bit of what you did in that year and a half that you feel. I'm not asking you to open the New England Journal of Medicine and show us where it's listed or anything like that, but you're the authority because you lived it and lived through it. Talk about that. This is important. What was it that made you believe you could do what you did? How did you know? How come fear didn't stop you dead in your tracks?
Are you going back to when I had the cancer diagnosis?
Cancer.
Okay.
Yeah.
You know what? When I had that phone call as I'm putting down the receiver, I just knew in my heart of hearts I was going to beat it. I had no idea how, but I was just so adamant I was going to do it.
Instantly.
And back then, the availability of the internet is not what it is today. So I spent hours at bookstores and libraries researching. And so that's when I sort of changed my chef hat to a raw food chef hat at the time. I did some personal growth work, some forgiveness, and I got rid of the toxins in my home because most 96% of diseases are a result of toxins, whether it's mental, emotional, or physical. And so, what we sleep on, what we wash ourselves with, our laundry detergent, our cleaning products, our toiletries, what our pets sleep on, the air fresheners, the scented candles, they're all toxic and they add to your toxic load. So I learned a lot about all these things. And so I implemented them all. And it resulted in me being toxic free or less toxins in my body, both mentally, emotionally, and physically. And so I was able to be a cancer victor. I don't say I conquered it. I'm saying I'm a victor.
That's amazing. Man, you should write a book.
It's in the works.
Oh, well, there you go. Really? So what about, so again, the cancer, I mean, plain and simple, it was a blessing.
It was, and I didn't have a negative attitude about it, or I wasn't miserable. I was just moving forward, and I was adamant it was going to work.
Why do you think some people, that's amazing, can do what you did, and others before the phone is back in its cradle or wherever, the button is hit, are already thinking, oh my God, I'm going to die?
That's exactly the first thing everybody thinks. It's a natural instinct because, number one, they're overwhelmed. They don't know what they're going to do. They've heard of the statistics. Maybe they've had family members that have died, and they're going, I'm going to be another victim. Yeah.
Wow. So do you find that it's very powerful? I mean, how can it not be? For when you encounter people and you share your story and someone has a new diagnosis or something, and you tell them, oh, wait, and you just say, wait a minute. It's never about one thing. I've got another version of that story with the big C, and boy, does it have a great ending. So when you go out and you do this work, when you go to schools, do they hire you? Do you volunteer? How does a person forge a living if they were going to try to do that, doing the work that you do? Is it possible? Is it a thing?
It's a combination. I initially may do a volunteer presentation just to get people a flavor of what I do, and then for professional development days, I go in and I teach the teachers and the students, and then I implement a program for the students to do for a week or a month, and then on the PA system, the principal comes on, and every morning we'll say something motivational to remind the kids that this is what they're doing. So like March the 20th is International Happiness Day.
Oh,
what can your school do to promote a little bit of happiness? Let's start now. Let's start tomorrow, March the 1st. And we've got 20 days to do it.
wow. Well, so in your opinion, is there a demographic that's easier to show the light of happiness to, that, or to, you know what I mean, to get to convince that, look, it's right there? What I'm getting at is do you think we become jaded as we get older and we just abandon what is readily available as far as this joy and happiness piece that kids seem to just have on the drop of a dime?
Yeah, I say we become jaded through life circumstances, through tragedies, maybe lack of a support system. Maybe your spouse of 50 years died. Maybe your spouse is in a nursing home. Maybe family dynamics, you're not getting along. So definitely the younger people that have had less traumatic experiences in their life are more open to it. But then on the other hand, there's several nursing homes scattered throughout the States and in Europe where, they bring in stray kittens or abandoned kittens, and the seniors look after them and feed them. It gives them meaning and purpose and a smile,
Yeah.
So everybody needs to have some kind of meaning and purpose in their life and lead it, whatever it is. You don't have to be a marathon runner or a TED speaker or an Amazon bestseller. It may be just feeding the kittens.
Yes.
It may be
Yes.
tending to your garden, whatever it
Yes.
is.
Yes. I agree. And I think especially those of us who are in the process, which is all of us, but once you get over 50 and you start moving into that season known as the golden season, and a lot of people, as far as I want to make sure that I die one day with dignity. And usually when a person hears that, they think, oh, I don't have to wear a diaper, no one has to change me, I can feed myself, da 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 da. That's what dying with dignity means. But you never hear anyone say, okay, she may not be able to get up and go to the bathroom, but she always has a smile on her face. You know what I mean? That is dignity, because your dignity, gratitude, all these things, they're cousins. They come from the same bloodline, if you were going to line them up. They're in the same family, so to speak. And so I really admire, I just want to say that, the work you're doing. And I hope that, it breaks my heart, though, because I already know, I'm like, it's like if you had a person giving away balloons on one corner or a burning building burning on the other corner, more people are going to be standing staring up at the building than care about getting the balloon from the person. You know what I'm saying? They're going to.
That's right.
Right. And so do you see, especially now, here we have two wars going. Let's kind of pivot during these last few minutes. What about as a collective? What kind of work can we do in our communities as far as this? Do you remember when COVID first started and we'd go out for when you had the guts to go out for a walk? But I remember when we first started venturing out, back when the children were doing all of the chalk work on the sidewalks, and they were putting mosaics and things in the windows. Do you remember that? Little messages and the teddy bears and stuff. The kids were doing that. But we as adults, I remember my husband and I, we'd go out for a walk. We saw somebody at least 3/4 of a block down on the same side of the sidewalk, but headed this way. She didn't just cross the street gingerly. She dashed across the street like she was on fire or Freddy Krueger was headed her way. We were so fearful. And do you know, for a long time, the very thing that I missed the most when we were behind the mask was I missed seeing people smile.
That's right.
Missed seeing their face. And when you're talking to people through the mask, you couldn't tell. Well, at first I couldn't. But then I learned how to smile and show people I was smiling with my eyebrows and my eyes.
That's right.
Because I missed it. I said, something's missing. I don't like not having access to it. So I had to pivot. Talk about how that was for you and what we're talking about there. Even if you can't smile, you can still people can still read the joy within you, should there be some there.
Well, there's always something you can do just to put a little bit of a smile to somebody's face, somebody's eyes. For me, having been a chef, I give out these little treats. They're little heart-shaped, gluten, dairy-free little treats in a Ziploc bag on my walks. And I just say a little happiness goes a long way in your tummy. And it just, people are just caught off guard that, this stranger approached me and gave me something for nothing and didn't want money for it. And so then they continue and on their journey. There's all sorts of little things we can do. It doesn't have to be something physical that you can give to somebody. You've got a beautiful smile today. How can I make it even better?
Aww.
Always a compliment. Compliments go so far, just so far. I love your eyes. I love your dress. It looks good on me too. Hint, hint.
Yes, yes. Do you think? Are you able to detect if a person is pretending to be happy? Because
Yes.
a lot of us go through the motions. Talk about that. Signs that someone because that sometimes is a cry for help in and of itself. If you really know the person, like, what's wrong with you? Nothing. Are you sure? You just don't see yourself. I'm good. And then they throw a little smile. Oh, okay. Now you let them off the hook. Talk about what you do when you can detect that a person is pretending that they're happy.
Well, depending on whether I'm on the phone or in person, just I've known you a long time, and I really sense that there's something going on. Would you like to share? Because when you share, um, it's not as intense, and it may give you another opinion, and it might make you feel better.
Have you ever been able to detect someone smiling over the phone? I have.
Oh yeah, for sure.
You can tell. You
Yeah.
can just tell. Um, you know, and I'll tell you another thing about joy that kids taught me. And it's a good thing I don't take things personally. Thank you for agreements. When I got married, before I got married, I was my little nieces and nephews, Uncle Lauren, Uncle Lauren. Oh, the sun rose and set on Uncle Lauren. And then came Uncle Brian. And now when the door opens, when they come to visit, I'm like, and they're like, hi, Uncle Lauren. Uncle Brian, and they
Mhm.
take off and they shoot past me, and it brings me so much joy because I'm just grateful that it's not like, uh, why did I get that? No, I love how quickly kids can take great to greater,
That's right.
strong to stronger, bright to brighter, just like that. You know, I just, there's so
No,
much we can learn from our kids.
and no limitations.
None. They're fearless and it's unbridled. It's unconditional. And those are the things, I'm going to take it all the way to whatever I turn into or transpire into next. When I move on, and I promise, I really believe that all the things that matter the most to us, joy, love, peace, harmony, all the things that you cannot touch, you have to feel them. I think we can't touch them because they're not things. They're places. You know what I'm saying? They're places. They're right beneath your feet. They're cradling your spirit when you need them. And that's why you can find it if you're looking for it wherever you are. My birth mother told me this when I first got back into the family after 32 years of being in absentia. And she could tell I spent the night for about a week straight at her house. And one morning we were having coffee and she goes, son, what's wrong? And I said, I don't know. Because, some of the siblings were still in shock because they had all thought I was dead all those years. And now I've returned from the grave, and it didn't make some of them happy at first. And she said to me, listen, I want you to sit right there at that table. Don't move. Because when you get up from that chair, I want you to have flipped these feelings you're dealing with now completely over. I said, well, how am I going to do that? She goes, just sit there and look around. You don't have to even get up, and you can keep finding things. Start a list of things you're grateful for. By the time the sun goes down tonight, you should still be sitting right there because you will not have run out of things to be thankful for.
That's so
And,
very true.
and she was true because I said, oh, I'm thankful for that over there. And then I'd look beyond it and see a tree outside, and it'd be moving and the wind would be blowing. And I said, that's so pretty. Oh, I'm thankful for the wind too. I'm thankful for that tree too. I'm thankful that my sight, I can see that far still.
Mhm.
And then before you know it, I'm up. So you're absolutely right. Tell people where, cause let me see. Did we get your connecting information?
I don't know. My best place to connect with me is on LinkedIn. So it's just my name on LinkedIn.
So ALEXI Bracey on LinkedIn.
Hmm.
And what will people find over there? Tell us how you actually work with people and how they can get started.
Well, we sit down, we have a questionnaire exactly to determine what is it that you're looking for, and some of your challenges, and based on that I customize a program, because for some people it may be a loss, it may be grief, it may be suicidal feelings, it may be the family's deserted them, maybe they're new to the community, they've started a job and they don't like the job but they have to pay the bills, maybe a child or themselves has been diagnosed with a changing illness.
Yeah.
So because everybody's different, so I
Yeah.
customize a program depending on what your needs are.
Sounds perfect. I just want to thank you. Oh man, this hour flew by. I'm so happy that you were here, and I am grateful for the work you're doing. And I just want to say thank you. Hats off. Keep up the great work. And we'll keep an eye on you.
All right, thank you so
Okay.
much for the opportunity.
Of course.
It's
And you
been
guys head over to LinkedIn and type in ALEXI BRACEY and get your dose of happiness, not just today, but every day that you find yourself in need of it. And I think even on years where it's 365, wait, that's the regular year, 6. Today is day number 360. Wow. Every day, find your happiness so that you can give it away. It'll make you even happier. Have a great day, and God willing, I'll meet you over on the front porch again tomorrow morning at 8 a.m. Central, where together we unlock some magic through illuminated conversation. Now, get out, find a little piece of your highest self, add it to what you already are, and get out there and change this world, won't you now? Listen, I tell you every day, and I mean it as we get out of here, I love, love, love you. And there's not a damn thing you can do about it. So there. Have a great day. I love you guys. I love you too. Thank you, ALEXI. Have a great day. Great job.
My pleasure. Thank you.
All right. Bye, everyone.
Show me your soul. Baby, I'll show you mine. Show me your soul. Honey, it's way past time. How expensive do I have to be? Need I spell it?